somewhere that you can throw at me if I get too much.
I have.
A little bit about me. This time last year I wasn't a Christian. I was probably like some of you in this room, had loads of questions, loads of doubts, and was seeking loads of answers. My wife, we've been together for 13 years. Well, I'm not on the sofa anyway. Serena's always been a Christian. She was a Christian before I knew her, and her faith grew and grew. But our marriage, even though we loved each other dearly, there was a huge part of her life that was missing, and that was me being a Christian as well. She socialised with loads of her Christian friends, went to church, and I sort of stayed at home on the sofa. It was a better place to be for me at that time. I had my PS3 and was enjoying myself. But I'd be a fool if I said that that didn't really sort of affect our marriage, because we couldn't really grow together. I sort of believed that there was a God. I knew that there was a heaven and a hell. I knew there was a man that could walk on water, and I knew that he could turn that water into wine, which, you know, I'm sure every one of us in this room would love to be able to do that. And no doubt we'd be invited to all the parties around if we could. Back 2009-ish, I used to suffer from severe sort of panic attacks and anxiety attacks, which used to keep me in the house a lot. I never used to want to go out. It was small stuff like coming here tonight would have been a huge thing for me to do. And it really did affect our marriage somewhat, and my social life, and I lost friends through it. I got asked in 2013 to go to Canada for a wedding, and for me that was a huge thing to do. And this is where my first sort of encounter with God came. I reluctantly went to the airport, and I was in the departure lounge, and my brother-in-law David came up to me, and he could see that I was really suffering with my anxiety and my panic attacks at the time. And David came and prayed for me. Now, we're in the departure lounge in Heathrow, and everyone knows how busy that could be. I was embarrassed to be prayed for. I felt everyone was watching me. I felt people were judging me because of it. But David still prayed for me, and it showed good Christian strength from him. My anxiety levels went from here down to here within seconds of him praying for me. I'd never felt so calm in my life, and the fear of getting on a plane and going to Canada just completely went. For the next sort of 8 hours I was stuck in this sea and I couldn't escape. So all I could really do was think, why me? Why would someone that I don't believe in, I don't want to know, why would he help me? Why would he do this for me? So it led to questions in my mind. Those questions then, this time last year, I got invited along to an Alpha course, so maybe I could have some of those questions answered. My brother-in-law, Chris, the Canadian guy, invited me along to an evening very similar to this at his church, where I met loads of people, had lots of fun, and I signed up for the Alpha course. Now for me, the first week I was down at my mum's, down in Devon, so I thought it was a little bit far to come back just for an evening and then go all the way back down there. So I missed the first week of the Alpha course. And then the second week came round. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to go. Although I had these thoughts in my mind and I wanted to discover and explore a bit more, I didn't want to go to Alpha. And the reasons why I didn't want to go to Alpha is because I thought that all Christians wore cardigans, they all wear sandals with socks, and
I've not got any socks on.
But I thought to myself, every everyone sort of knows of that sort of typical Christian stereotype. And I thought, why would these people know anything about my life or the real world? Which lots of people here have proved me completely wrong. And the youth pastor here at Mark Edwards, most people might have met him. He definitely isn't that stereotype. I met Mark on a really bizarre occasion, and it was during that Thursday I was supposed to be going to Alpha, where I was texting my brother-in-law, and it was one of those text messages where you start texting it, but it's really difficult to text because you know you're going to be letting that person down. I started to text, and my phone in the office went. I'm a local estate agent, and I picked up the phone, and this person wanted to go to see this rental property, completely something that wouldn't suit them, yet he was insistent that he wanted to see it. And not only did he want to see it, but he wanted to see it right now. So I put the phone back in my pocket. I mean, I didn't really want to take this guy serious. He said he was a rapper, a youth worker, and he had an email address, NC Tempo, and I thought it was just a mess of wasting my time, to be honest. But as I was waiting outside the property for Mark to turn up, I started texting again. I couldn't find the words to say, really. I mean, I was making up loads of excuses of why I couldn't go, but the real excuses really was the hurdles that I'd put there myself, rather than a genuine reason. I started to show Mark around this property, and Mark, anyone here that knows him, knows that one of the first questions he asks people when he meets them is whether they're a Christian. I hold the record. I probably went 7 to 10 minutes maybe before he actually asked me. And I didn't know what to say to him. I told him my wife was, and told her story. And out of the blue, Mark said to me, "There's something that you should be doing." He said, is there something that you should be doing that you don't want to do? Because you should so do it. And within a few moments, he had invaded my personal space. He put his arm around me. I mean, I'm in an empty house with this strange guy, and he started to put his arm around me. I was a little bit nervous. And he started to pray for me to accept the Holy Spirit in my life. Now, the feeling that I got from him praying for me was the feeling that I've never experienced before. I felt alive, is one way that I can put it. But during that period of time, my mindset then changed. And my mindset changed to go to and attend the Alpha on that Thursday night. Now, Alpha to me was somewhere where I could sort of ask all those questions. Although I'd had these two sort of very strong encounters, and I still think to myself today, if I hadn't met Mark, and Mark hadn't have intervened and prayed for me, then I wouldn't have gone to Alpha and I wouldn't be standing here today. So is it maybe a spooky coincidence that I met Mark, or was it God intervening? And these are still questions that even as a Christian that I still want answers to. Alpha's a good place for people to come to ask those questions, to find out those answers. There's quite a few people in the room today that attend SCC, and I know most of them still have answers today, will still strive to find those answers. But it's not necessarily the questions that are the barriers. But it's been great to see you all here today, and I hope I've not taken up too much of your time. SCC is a wonderful place. It's people here who've become my family. They've welcomed me with open arms, and I thank you all for that. But if you have questions and you want to find some answers, then the Alpha course is a good place to start. We'll be having some cakes to begin with, some desserts. We will then, from there, have a little presentation, watch some videos, and then we can sit in our groups and we can discuss them. You're not forced or in any way, because you come, that you have to become a Christian, but maybe it can help you find some of those answers that I know for me it helped me massively. So I hope that it can maybe help some of you guys out there. Anyway, that's enough.